welcome to Smells Like Popcorn, where I start the discussion.
Want to know some more fun facts?
Isn't it awesome to see some of your favorite content creators and favorite people, honestly, that you follow here on this app, be a part of this amazing community called the Nerd Initiative?
Hey, welcome. It is, what is it? Saturday, March 11th, I think it is. Isn't it? I'm losing track of time.
Yeah, this year's going by way too. The other day I thought it was February, and I was like, no, it's not. And that crushed me. So,
I'm there with you. Like this month has gone by so quickly. I mean, we're only like 2 or 3 weeks away from C2E2 now. We have one more new show, one more fandom show, and then C2E2. The Friday night that we would normally do fandoms, we're going to be doing a trivia panel at C2E2, which is amazing. I mean, and anybody who's going to be there, like the swag is crazy.
it's separated all around the country right now, right? So like you have, it's just nuts. Like,
well, I'm so glad you did that. Like everyone, I want you to understand something. When we were preparing for this, Michael showed me this suitcase, this oversized suitcase that would fit on an airplane. And inside of it had every single piece of merchandise for this convention. And all I could think of is that's the bag that's going to get lost. That's going to happen.
You got to check it too, right? So, I mean, look, I will say my wife has some really good contingency plans. So our backdrop, the nuts and bolts of it have been sent to JJ, who's also nerd of JJ's comic stuff. But we are keeping the backdrop. So like, again, if the mail loses the backdrop, we have the cloth part. So we're putting that in our carry-on to make sure that we don't like lose like the most important things we don't lose sight from. Because who knows if there's 3 signs, for the setup that are going to JJ. He's bringing, you have hats, he has beanies, we have lanyards, beanies, more hats. And I feel like we're over prepared, but I've also scared that we'll get there on Friday and then everything will be gone within an hour. And we're like, what do we do now?
Yeah. And we're also going to have like really fun looking sunglasses that have no branding on them whatsoever, because let's just say this week has been crazy for me. And I can't even say much about it other than I'm flying to LA like tomorrow.
That's
like I'm going to try to go to sleep like after the show because we have to go to the airport, fly out. We are going to try to hit the Funko HQ or the Funko retail store there. And then we're going to stop at, I don't mind saying this, we're going to Shalom Grill, and it's the place where they filmed the scene from the end credits of Revengers where they're all sitting around the table eating shawarma.
Crazy.
So like, listen, after I saw Infinity War, I had to have shawarma, and I was like, that was the thing, like watch the movie, shawarma after, and so this is just so much fun. This actually go there. Like, I feel like that in itself, but then what's also happening, just follow my TikTok. You'll see it. I'll just say it that much. Like,
we'll have it here on YouTube as well. Like we will be keeping everyone abreast of everything that's going on. Cause it's going to be
whatever it is, follow the Nerd Initiative YouTube. You will be able to see what's going on. Michael is going to cover that front, which I greatly appreciate.
It has to be done. It's going to be awesome. It has to be done.
Man, it's so hard to say. And then whatever. We'll let's just go ahead and get on to the nerd news.
This is considered nerd news. It's fine.
Yes, it's nerd. It's news about a nerd, so that works. So let's go ahead and get into nerd news. We're going to go ahead and cover a couple things. This first one, I actually really like. I don't know if you've caught any of this, Michael. I was actually watching the first episode. It's actually a number of them, and it kind of reminds me of the behind the scenes stuff for the shows as they were coming out.
But for this, in the universe and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's called Empower for International Women's Month. This show is amazing. The first episode is the women of Wakanda. breaking down like Angela Bassett's character, just the different roles within the country of Wakanda, the Dora Milaje, and like even it goes into like a story. It goes into like the background of Denai Guara, and it's just amazing to see that, and they're taking a lot of care into it, and it really, I don't just trust me on this. They do have like an opening title scene. Like they start off explaining it, and then they go into their title screen. It gave me chills.
Really?
Just the way they did it, like it made me even more excited for these female characters, and looking at them and actually getting more background behind the motivations of why they did things and everything else. It's an exciting series, especially for this month.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I have not checked it out yet. I'm sure I will get around to it eventually. There's so much
Yeah.
out right now. It's like
I know with
I saw this when it
Mandalorian
came
and
out.
everything else,
It's funny because I mean, I think I don't know if it's the older I get, but I don't think so because it's only been a couple of years. Or the more busy we get, with the company and personal and like what we're doing and stuff like that. Like, it's funny. I used to, when things came out, and you still do it. I don't know how you do it, but you still watch it like when it premieres at night and stuff. I like even the Mandalorian. I think we don't catch it until that night. So like Wednesday night, when usually like it would be like first thing in the morning. For me, I get up super early. It's like 5 a.m. I watch it, and I would watch it a second time with my wife and like really digest it and take it in and all that stuff. And not the case these days. There's so much else going on. So yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'll leave it for the audience to decide.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like I'll be honest. Like for a guy who watches like the Marvel movies, and then I admit I'm one of the guys that kind of will sit back and actually listen to the director's commentary along with it, because that's how I pick up on little things and nuances. Because like if you don't have the Blu-ray or the 4K or whatever for Infinity War, and you don't get the director's roundtable where it's all of the directors up through phases 1 through 3, like sitting around a table talking, like
that's awesome.
that by itself. And it's funny because like I'm a big Guardians fan. Like the amount of praise that a lot of the directors give to James Gunn for breaking ground and kind of breaking the mold was really cool. And so like the Assembling the Universe type shows, I wasn't really excited to watch them, and I still haven't even watched all of them, because I feel like it's kind of stuff I already knew, and it's just kind of getting everybody up to date on stuff. But I watched this just the first episode and was hooked. And it's kind of fun how it's different like that. It just because I think what it does is it breaks down the nuance. Like they even talk about how like in the comic books, the Dora Milaje were kind of like more looked at like these female characters that are scantily clad, they're wearing like bikini tops, and they've got high heel shoes on, and they've made them more utilitarian, or they put them more into form, and they've showed them as equals within Wakanda. And it's like that breakdown of that, and something that I didn't even know, like they're explaining through the thing, I did not realize that there was a color difference in the costumes, and it's mainly because I'm colorblind. But like only Okoye wears gold because she's the general. Everyone else will wear silver. I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
So definitely loved it. It was really good. Looking forward to more. Mind you, they're going to do Gamora, Scarlet Witch. They're breaking it down into different characters. And of course, if you just look at the lineup in that poster, it's amazing. So
yeah.
So by all means, like there's a lot of things.
So with that in mind, before we move on to the next topic, and maybe this is a rhetorical question of something that maybe we should do in the future. Is there so we have like director's cuts, we have Assembling the Universe, we have all that stuff like that, but then there's stuff that we do as creators, right? Like, did you know this? And what about this? And you have a series on YouTube, like expounding the MCU, where there's like really good insight to like, oh, Tony Stark was almost in Guardians.
Right.
Is there a series from Marvel or an official thing? And I don't want to give them any idea because they'll take it away from us, that does that. Because for me, we've talked about this with streaming platforms and whatnot. That would be exciting for me to watch and sit there and just like learn, much like we're learning about like Marvel's history and stuff like that. I think that's the stuff that, is super interesting and makes you grow and learn, like all these behind the scenes stories.
Oh yeah, I mean, not to spoil what I did. Like, I have a expanding the MCU video that'll be dropping on Tuesday morning. I did one. It's going to be a couple part series on just the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and it's just like some of the stuff that's so simple. Like this. Did you know? You know the scene on Xandar when Gamora is trying to steal the orb from Star-Lord. Okay, you know the scene where he jumps at her and she kicks him right in the ribs. She almost broke his ribs in that scene. The entire time they were filming that whole part, they were wearing protective equipment. And the day of filming, he took the protective equipment that he was wearing off. And he didn't tell Zoe Saldana that he was doing it because he didn't want her to hold back. And so when she did kick him, she kicked him with the full force. So that was a legitimate like contact kicked. And he was bruised on that side for the remainder of filming. And it's like stuff like that. Like of course, everybody knows that Chadwick Boseman, auditioned for the role of Drax, and they realized that he played him too seriously in because they wanted Drax to be a comical character, and Chadwick was playing him like a king. So what did they do? He was the when they were casting for T'Challa. And then like I'll say one more that I did, but like when Dave, and I know you love Dave Bautista when he got called and was notified that he got the role of Drax the Destroyer, he cried. Like he legitimately cried. He was so happy.
I like that. That's nice.
So like there's stuff like that, and like that's only like a little bit of it.
I mean, those are the stories that make it like, I mean, that's the stuff that makes it for me, right? Like I think like I love I mean, we talk about this and then we should move on, but like, you know, we talk about obviously you can't imagine anyone but Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man. And then, you know, we know the Tom Cruise stuff. I love the fact that Sam Rockwell auditioned and was a top 3 pick. And that's why he was Justin Hammer in the second movie is what they like. And also, if you notice, his wife, Leslie Bibb, was the reporter in the original Iron Man. So like, I love those connections. I love those stories. We've all seen the audition footage from Robert Downey, which like literally is Tony Stark. So,
and the funniest thing about him was he had to audition because nobody was willing to insure him because of his past. And he went in there. He even like got a car, like a driver to bring him in so that he could act like this genius billionaire playboy. And like he walked in character and like gave it his all. And it was that was like, it was like before he even walked in the door, he was Tony Stark. He was doing everything he could to do that. And then you find out like there was like for the first Iron Man film, as well as I think it went, there was no hard concrete script. Everything, a lot of the majority of the thing was ad-libbed. They had a bare bones like skeleton of a movie.
Gwyneth Paltrow crazy because Gwyneth Paltrow, again, so you have like these mix of actors and actresses, right? And so he's just, it just shows his talent level and his skill. You know, and we can go for like hours about Robert Downey Jr., but it just the quality of the actor that he is and has been for a long time, even though he got into problems with, you know, outside that, whatever. But yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow is very much by the book, straight-laced, and it was very hard for her, which is funny in the backstory because like, you know,
well, I don't hold too much to her because she doesn't even remember what movie she's been in.
I figured you were gonna say that.
No, because anybody doesn't understand this, like Jon Favreau did like this cooking with John or whatever it was, the show, and he was talking about a scene in Spider-Man, and she's like, I wasn't in Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, you were in Spider-Man. And like she didn't even know she was at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. So it was definitely funny. So let's go and keep moving on. So next thing and this is something of unfortunate news for many fans. The Suicide Squad killed the Justice League game, which was done by the same company as the Arkham Batman games. Is delayed again. It was initially delayed until May, but I believe that there was some type of gameplay footage that was released and it got a lot of backlash, and so they realized instead of kind of going by the way of the Marvel's Avengers, you know, co-op game, they'd go ahead and delay it and try to make it better. So hopefully this is a try to make it better like Sonic the Hedgehog try to make it better, and not like a try to make it better as in Morbius was delayed so many times like the New Mutants was, and we still got crap. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a gamer, but this looks. I mean, these images look really, really good.
Oh, and some of the action, like the cutscenes,
Yeah,
flawless. Like I want to see this story. Like I like the characters,
and
but
Rocksteady's a pretty. I mean, what Rocksteady is a pretty well-known company, so I think I have faith in this. I think, yeah, I have faith in this. I think
I know why they did it. I mean, the Arkham games were fantastic. I love them from story to gameplay
Oh
to the
yeah,
side missions. Like break your heart, make you excited, get your adrenaline pumping, just fun games. And then I know like my biggest thing was like it would be wonderful if this had more than one person playing so you could do this with somebody else. Because if you're just playing it by yourself, it's kind of like, okay, give me the controller, I'll do this mission. And honestly, like that would have been fun. I know they're trying to do that, and I think Avengers was ambitious to try to do a co-op type game. The problem is the mission based system can be sometimes very difficult.
yeah. I need to learn more about gaming, but I mean, yeah, I was thinking of Sonic when you mentioned that. Like, hopefully, it goes the way of Sonic the Hedgehog, where it actually. I mean, Sonic is a great movie, and so hopefully that is the outcome that we see from this. I wish we had the footage. I mean, it's probably leaked footage, right? So I mean, that's something that would be interesting to see in the future. See, like, because I mean, we can look if you pulled up side by side of like Sonic's teeth from
Oh
the
my
trailer
goodness,
to what
yes.
they did. I mean, that is one of the and who wait. So this is another one where I want to get the producers of this. I mean, I loved that they listen to the fans, and again, you don't want to do it too much, right?
Oh yeah.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog, the
Well,
movie.
it's funny because I think that's like the thing that every company does. You have people that kind of field. I know even here with us with Nerd Initiative, when it comes to like just like preparing for C2E2, like I had this mindset of what the booth is going to look like. We all talked together. We realized, you know, what really needed to be done. Then we would make a mock-up of something. Then we had somebody else touch it up. Like you have different hands that try to field and filter from something, you know, going wrong. Um, but there's never been in the history of movies where they've just had such a backlash that they went back and said, okay, let's give you what you want.
Well,
And
it really does take a special person, I believe. I truly believe that. So director Jeff Fowler, I don't know if he's the one who came out and said it to, or it was Pat Casey or Josh Miller, the writers behind it. But it takes someone who is not egotistical enough to say, we're right, it's going to be, you know, whatever, and says like, okay, let's run it through the room. Let's, you know, not just take the fans' word for it, because again, the fans are wrong a lot of the times as well.
yeah,
So if you go through like the line, you know, the line of, as I point up here, of Batman, they didn't want Keaton, they didn't want Bale, you know, they didn't want Pattinson. I'm not going to mention Ben Affleck. They didn't want him either, and I think the comments were like, no, but those I think were kind of right. But so whatever, that's my opinion. But I think, look, the fans can be wrong a lot of times, so you have to go with what you know. But again, if it's widespread and you know, you bounce it off of people and experts you trust and say, hey, this reaction to this trailer, what do you think? And they say like, look, maybe we can go back to the drawing board and change these fundamental, as Norman Osborn would say, we can go back to formula. I think that is a testament to the creative who's like, and you get a better movie out of it, or a better game, or a better product. So I think it takes a special person to really listen to people and go with that. I appreciate that. So
yeah, and I think this is where again DC can learn from Marvel. Marvel failed miserably when it came to the Avengers game, and we've got, you know, this potential. It's already a good team. I mean, the characters are already interesting in themselves from what we've seen in the cutscenes, but the mechanics are what's really important, because if the game's not fun to play, they're not going to stay to it. This is not like the early 2000s when we would, like, you know, play Enter the Matrix, and even though the mechanics were terrible, you wanted to get to those cutscenes because it blended into the movie. This is an opportunity for them to make something that's really good.
Mhm.
And as much as it's frustrating, like I was super excited when they did the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Not necessarily Rocksteady, but like when it came out. And I know that any delays that happen or when you think something's not going to come out, it would have been disappointing because that was a fantastic game. I want this to be a good game. This is a game I would want to play, and hopefully it doesn't disappoint like Avengers did. So that's just all I have to say about it.
Yeah, sure.
Next,
the God himself. You were not here last night when we were talking about this. The God himself. But continue. Sorry, I just got so
no. It's so it's like you have this. Okay, so let me just go to the reporting. John Wick 4 has had test screenings. Not only have the screenings been extremely positive, some have even come, at least one. I'm not going to say some because you never know. But so there has been a report that there was even a statement exclaiming that this is the greatest action movie of all time. Now it's a hard pull for me for Die Hard, but we'll see. I've enjoyed John Wick. The first John Wick is still close to my heart. And even if the other subsequent 3 were not, like, let's say, the best, I still enjoyed the crap out of them. So by all means, anytime Keanu Reeves is on screen, I'm going to be happy. I've enjoyed him more on screen. Like you always say, you had the Wild Stallions, you had Bill and Ted, for a long time, and he really broke that with Speed. And then, he kind of like did Constantine, he did Matrix. But John Wick is just kind of one of those things where I feel like he's had so much fun with, and I'm looking forward to this movie.
Yeah, I mean, anything. Well, let's get it out there. Anything Keanu does, I'm a fan. I'm on board. We were talking about
nicest guy.
Oh yeah, and he's just so talented and but also doesn't take himself too seriously. We were talking about last night. I should look that up. He like basically spooked himself in. It was with Ali Wong. You know what I'm talking about?
It's the Netflix. It was the Netflix movie. I can't remember what it's called.
It's like, is it Tiger Mom? Is it Tiger Mom? Is that it or no?
I don't know.
Always Be My Maybe. Maybe that's it.
Yes, it's that Always Be My Maybe. That was the movie.
And it has, I think it's.
And he plays just a massive jerk. But even when he's playing a massive jerk, you like him.
But it's funny though. Like he plays it like he makes fun of himself, and he's like, very kind and over the top. Yes. So I love Keanu. I also will say I have a little bit of knowledge about this behind the scenes. Like, so Derek Kolstad is the creator and screenwriter of John Wick. He works with a college friend of mine. They created Story Kitchen, Mike Goldberg, who is brilliant in Hollywood as far as producing and world building. And I every time I talk to Mike, like the ability of hearing the intellect of what they do with these stories and what they do with these worlds is brilliant. So I'm fully on board for all of this because you have good people and good creatives behind the scenes handling these things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing. And then Keanu is, I think, a guy, we were talking about this. It was like the comic press last night. I am dying for a Knights of the Old Republic or some kind of Old Republic Star Wars with him as either Darth Revan or something like that. Like, there's so many things he can do and should be doing because he's just fun to watch. Like, he might not be the most amazing actor, there's not Daniel Day-Lewis or whatever, but he's just fun to watch. He does a really solid job, and he's just a good guy, which goes a long way too for fans and people that just like movies and love his work. So
yeah, if I remember correctly, during filming of one of the Matrix movies, he didn't ask for much money at all. In fact, he asked for them just to kind of give the money to the crew. And then I think what he did with his money, he ended up buying motorcycles for all of the members of the crew. They would just go riding on the weekends. Like, that's the kind of guy he is.
Oh yeah. What he did? I remember it was years ago. I was still working, so I had to cover this. And it was like a viral story. Like, the plane got diverted. I think it was probably 2015, 16, around that time. A plane that he was on, and obviously wasn't like a private, it was a commercial plane, got diverted and had to land somewhere, and they had to take a bus, the last leg. So if they landed like in, say, like, for example, and I don't know these demographics, so don't hold me to it, but like Southern California, and they did go north, So they were like, all right, we're all going to take a bus. And you see like Keanu waiting in the airport with everyone to get on the bus. And apparently he like sat with everyone and just kind of was down to earth, normal, took the bus away, talked to everybody. It's just like,
Wow.
dude, like it's just, he really is just
Really, anything
yeah.
he wants, anything he would want you to do, you ought to just do it because it could only be the best thing. Speaking of which, Keanu Reeves wants you to go ahead and check out our merch store. You can find out some great Nerd Initiative merch there. Definitely shirts, hoodies, mugs, anything else like that. That's Keanu approved.
You will not see this trucker hat, but if you go to C2E2, you'll be able to get your hands on this trucker hat.
You might be able to get
great.
your hands on the trucker hat. Yeah.
If you give us your nerd origin story and come hang out with us.
So not only do you get to possibly get merchandise, but you also get to be a star on Nerd Initiative's YouTube channel. And yes, absolutely. So please be sure to come by. All right. So moving on. One that I know a lot of people are excited about, John Bernthal, a man that you have actually met and interviewed
a couple of times. Great. I mean,
he is returning, reprising his role as Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. So Michael, take it away.
There's just no one that takes this more serious than he does. And I think he is, it's funny because he's like this unlikely star in this universe, right? Like, I think if you think of like the RDJs and Mark Ruffalo is this super nice, jolly guy who plays the Hulk, and you have Chris Evans, you know, it's just funny. Like, he is the Punisher, and he is so damn good at it. And I remember talking one time, I was like, how did you prepare for this role? And obviously we all know Frank Castle's, you know, problematic backstory. And he, you know, he's like, as a father, I had to kind of reflect on what it would mean to me if, like, you know, you lost your family. And I mean, just an amazing show. And I think one of the best shows, like Daredevil and Punisher, if you have not checked out on Netflix, they're still on Netflix, right? Or are they on now on Disney Plus?
They're on Disney Plus now. Just to make sure your parental settings are set so that it's your adult.
If you have not watched those shows, you have to watch those shows because they are some of the best shows out there. And I think the benchmark of all great movies and shows, I think, are shows that are not superhero shows per se. This is not a superhero show. Punisher is a show about PTSD, about veterans, about real life. And it just happens to have the Punisher in it. And obviously Bernthal is a fantastic actor. And same thing with Daredevil. Daredevil is a show about so much more than The Man Without Fear. So this is just great news. And I think it brings back, now we have 3, man, no wonder this is going to be like 55 episodes or something. Like Daredevil Born Again is, what is it, like 18 episodes or something crazy, or 19 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you have Bernthal, they're probably going to go through a few arcs. You have Bernthal, you have D'Onofrio back as a Kingpin, which obviously is a fan favorite, and he's fantastic as well. And then you have Cox, who is again, just, he is, you know, the devil of Hell's Kitchen. So I think they're going to go down. I expect this to be 3 shows in one. Otherwise, I think it would be 8 episodes or 10, whatever they wanted to do. And so I think this is going to be great. Now, the one downside I have seen from people that have said, like, they wonder how it's going to translate because it won't be rated R. And that's a good point. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I last thing I'll say, and then I'll shut up, as my classic saying, I just, the scenes between Bernthal and Cox in that show, in Daredevil, where he appeared first, and then his own show, are some of the best as far as interacting with, you know, I think when you look at the MCU, I think you probably think of like Chris Evans and Downey Jr. had some great, you know, scenes back and forth. I think, man, you put them down and they get up. I put them down and they stay down. Is still just, I mean, it's fantastic. So this is the best news in a long time.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. It's like Peacemaker's kind of the opposite version of Punisher in that sense. But you know, the funny thing is, like, I'm so glad that John Bernthal did this character even back with the Netflix shows, because honestly, you know, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this when I was watching the first episode of Empower, how Denai Guara, all I had ever known her for was Michonne from Walking Dead. And now I can't think of her as anything other than Okoye.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember for the longest time, I had a hard time wanting to watch anything with John Bernthal because I hated Shane.
Yeah.
Like the guy just like, I was like, I couldn't stand that he got through two seasons. Like I wanted him gone. And honestly, like, taking on this role, you can see he definitely fits well into it. I loved, if you haven't seen it, go look on social media. Look how he teased this. How he's like walking in, he's got the chair with the Punisher thing. Like it's just fun. Like you could tell that when they do stuff like that, they enjoy the role.
Yeah.
They enjoy doing this stuff. So by all means, I think it's going to be fun.
He takes it super serious. And I think I will say like that, what he posted, which is the classic, Punisher Warzone. I mean, growing up, I that's actually where I have a lot of information. Like I was a huge, I had not read the Punisher Max stuff, which is really adult and it's like war and it's, whatever. But I did have a lot of like background and the final scene of him in season 2 of Punisher is that scene where he's got the 2 guns and it's classic. And it was also his goodbye too. Cause remember when that ended, that was when all the shows were being canceled on Netflix. And I remember his post at that time was saying it was bittersweet because he said he's like, for everyone that supported me, thank you so much. And he was so appreciative, but he was also kind of like, it's been a great ride. And you knew that was it. Daredevil had been canceled, which is crazy. And so it's nice to kind of bring that back. And I think this is fitting. I've heard rumors about Jessica Jones going back and then maybe even Luke Cage. I could go either way on those. I think the way Daredevil and the way Punisher finished off it would just be a shame if they all didn't come back. That final episode of both Punisher season 2 and Daredevil season 3 with, it's Kingpin and Matt Murdock. And there's not, when you talk about great TV, that's the epitome, no matter what you're a fan of. And again, there's some things that I can say, oh, if you're not a fan of this stuff, don't see it. This is something I can say, bar none. It's just good. And so this is fitting that they're coming back. Jessica Jones, I think, and Luke Cage kind of both went off the rails towards their ends. And they'd have to either retcon or just ignore some stuff that happened.
Like I think that's the thing. Like I hated the way that Luke Cage ended because I really felt like, I know they wanted to lead off into another season to explain what he was doing, but to bring him on and like basically he compromised all of his values, like taking over the club, like that really bothered me.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, like it made sense. Like they had to like do a vehicle. Like you can't beat the first season of Jessica Jones.
No,
like,
it's a great season.
You've got David Tennant and just so good. Just so good.
Jessica. Oh, Jessica.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And then even like some of it, like I didn't mind the Defender series. Like it was a nice mechanism to show them all teamed up together and stuff. But it could have been so much more, and hopefully with Disney Plus it will. But also understanding, like we know that with Bob Iger recently stating, different things that Chapek was too ambitious, causing high budget productions on Disney Plus. We will see a downtick in the rate of production, probably even more than we were expecting. And we've already been seeing, and I don't have any like facts for this because I didn't think to put this in there, but even to the point of where it looks like they're pushing out like the next Avengers films for a lot farther out. We're looking like 2026, 2027.
Wow.
So there's a lot of rumors in the mix of how things are getting pushed out, which is perfectly fine. I'm just thankful Blade is in production. We've seen that that Daredevil is absolutely in production right now. We've got all different things. Another bit of bad news that comes along with the good news of John Bernthal was that Karen and Fogg I forgot her name.
Karen Page and
Karen Page. Yeah, Karen and Foggy are not coming back. Deborah Ann Wool and Eldon Henson are not reprising their roles, at least for now. And the way that was said was Deborah Ann Wool was asked about the production, and she said they haven't contacted her, which means she's not in it. But that doesn't mean that she won't be in it in the future. It's just maybe not right now.
Well, what is she up to these days? So Deborah Ann Wall, for those who don't know, her boyfriend or husband, things changed and it's been a while, is technically blind. And so I remember when she signed on for Daredevil, a big part of that was because, it was such a support of, she obviously loved the premise of Daredevil and I don't know if she's a superhero kind of person. I've actually interviewed and met her before. She's lovely and was really a big fan of the whole Punisher series and Daredevil and whatnot. I wonder if she has conflicts, or I wonder if she just doesn't want to do that kind of thing anymore, because
it sounds from reports she does want to do it. She's still interested.
She was a great Karen. That was another one that was like, I think that was another one that was a highlight. I mean, she was a fantastic Karen Page, like, and also Eldon Henson too. I mean, talk about a great guy, Mighty Ducks fame, and for obviously we all loved him in that. I think they were great. And so it'll be interesting to see if fans want them back or try to bring them back. I actually like these characters more than, say, like Rosario Dawson's character was always like the tie to every single show. I didn't love her character. I Night Nurse. I know.
Well, there was always an idea that they were going to have a Night Nurse series, and it just never formulated. Yeah. So of course they were going to push for Rosario Dawson because she was a big name person. And
now she's Ahsoka Tano, so it's way.
Yeah, so it's like
that's way.
That's like let's just use her. Now. Yeah, exactly. So. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see them in the future. One thing that we can talk about that is a positive, and this is not Marvel related. The Caped Crusader, Batman's Caped Crusader animated series, has found a home with Amazon, and Amazon has already ordered 2 seasons of the show. So if everybody realizes Zaslav and HBO Max, Discovery Plus, whatever they're going to call it, since HBO Max, they feel like the HBO is preventing people from wanting to subscribe and they don't think it's their poor decisions. They decided not to move forward with a number of DC properties. And so this one has actually been moved over to Amazon. Amazon is taking on, all of that. It was really sad I remember when they first mentioned this film, or the show, I think it was 2 years ago at the DC Fandom event.
Fandoms?
Well, it was Fandom, I think it was. That was that digital like Comic-Con thing that they did. I think Kevin Conroy was still on books to play Batman and everything else. So a lot of things are going to change. And for those of you who don't remember when they announced this way back when, this is like a year 1 Batman. This is taking place before the events of Batman the Animated Series. So basically, it's like the Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman, like time frame for the animated series.
Well, the art really strikes me as classic Batman. I mean, you look at that art, like it's funny as a comic book fan and someone who collects and is a fan of the history of comics. There's 2 iconic covers that come to mind. One is way back Detective Comics, like 31, where it's the baddies looking over, and that's a grail book. And then there's also the Neil Adams like homage from the 70s, and so that makes me think of it like him just overlooking, the city and whether it's Gotham or whatever, and just kind of looming. But the art is vintage, it's beautiful, and so it fits with all that. I think it really does fit with that classic Batman theme and those original stories. So that's good to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So along with that, we've got 2 more bits of news. This one's fun for me. I don't know if you saw this.
What is this?
It's a stock image, okay? Because I didn't want to get in trouble. It's not like it was a promotional thing.
That's fine.
So
look. For those that don't know, we pulled down a story this week because we didn't want to get in trouble, so we were getting worried with a certain sport that is a league that's known for being. We were like, all right, let's pull this story down and figure out what we can do. So yeah, I support you in this.
So last year, it's been reported that last year, vinyl records beat out compact discs for the first time since 1987. Like, and the reason I put this is because, like, nerds, we're audiophiles too. Like, I've got my record player behind me. Mainly it's for my WandaVision soundtrack, but it doesn't matter. And So vinyl records last year sold 41 million records compared to CDs selling 33 million.
I mean, that's not even like just beating it. That's just dominating it by like a good 25% or 30%. Like that's impressive, but I'm not surprised. I mean, look, like the retro aspect of, and then wait till, oh my God, wait till, well, they don't produce them anymore, right? So I was gonna say, wait till VHS beats out Blu-ray. But
No, I'm going.
it won't happen
I'm
because they're valuable
listen,
now.
I am voting for Laserdisc to come back
Okay.
because I've got a major. I have a huge Laserdisc collection. Listen, I have a huge Laserdisc collection. I am very proud of my Laserdisc collection.
Well, I guess my question about this is when it's parallel to VHS, right? For those who don't know, collecting VHS is a big thing right now. Like classic VHS, they go for thousands, much like classic video games. I'm surprised at this. I'm not surprised at the retro aspect, but I'm surprised if you think about the fact that some records are incredibly valuable. So to see them trading at that kind of a volume is interesting.
But have you seen okay, I'm going to tell you right now, and if I turn you on to this, I am sorry.
Oh, man.
Have you ever looked up the Marvel movie vinyl records?
No. Oh, you mean the Golden Record reprints?
No.
Oh.
Marvel movies, they don't just make vinyl records for the soundtracks of the movies. They are complete digitized images on the vinyl records. So hold on just a second.
Oh no, this is the last thing I need right now.
I can't believe that you did not watch Marvel Twins video about this.
I just looked.
Listen, I have the Spider-Man Homecoming. Don't judge me on the next one. I have Venom. I have Venom. I have the
shoes.
I have Captain America. I have the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1
I don't need
on Laserdisc. Look at this record. Hold on.
So
let's get rid of this. Okay,
when you
I need you to see
it,
this.
I mean, that's awesome. But when you play it, what happens?
It plays perfectly normal.
Wait, but it's a record. So does it play like it just plays audio, right?
It just plays audio, but these are collectible images on vinyl records, and they're beautiful. And like for the Captain America one, I have it up on my shelf. It's literally Captain America's shield, and then on the other side, it's Cap in his World War I suit or World War II suit. The Venom one is literally Venom. It's a black vinyl record with Venom's head and his tongue coming out with all the saliva and everything.
Look, I'm
telling you,
I understand why people get into hoarding. It is, I get it. It's really dangerous. It's really bad.
The only problem is you can't have people at your house.
Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah, you can't get through it. But I mean, like, if you were to see my room, that don't know, hold on, let me just do this real quick. If you go through my room, it's just like there's Funkos and comics and poster art, and then you go to the other end, and sorry, there's a light there. Let's get off there. More posters, and there's a Captain America. Yeah, it's insane. There's a Captain America helmet there that I plan to get signed by Chris Evans at C2E2. And
you didn't tell me that.
I just got that. So I got a ticket. So essentially before they sold out, I got a ticket for Sunday. And I also sent in my, I'm not here to brag or anything. I sent in my Avengers 4 to get signed by him, and quote, Avengers Assemble. Because with the Chris Evans signing, a couple things. The helmet I'm excited about. I don't have any other things like that. Anything I've signed is like comics, and that's basically it. I don't have any like comics and Funkos I've signed. That's it. I don't have anything like actual real estate. Like an Iron Man helmet. I know Donovan has an absolute epic Ant-Man helmet that he got signed by everyone at the Ant-Man premiere, and that, I mean, what a cool piece to have. But I will say, like the Chris Evans signing, when it went live at SWOW, which is where you can send things in and get it back. And this was really annoying. The inscription and the quote service sold out really fast. So within like minutes, you couldn't add quotes anymore, which I think is some of the most fun of doing this stuff. Like, to get it signed is cool, but to get Stan Lee to sign something and write "with great power comes great responsibility" is cooler, right? So like that is like that's like what makes you feel like a real fan. So I wanted to get him to sign it, and I was debating because I didn't want him to like completely ruin the comic that I have, but I wanted to be like, yeah, that's America's ass. And it sold out so fast. I went to check out on a photo with the photo. They had a slew of photos you could get. And I went to check out the photo where he is staring at his variant's butt. And I went to check out and it wouldn't let me check out with the inscription. So I was like, well, I'm not going to just get this sign. That's silly. So long story short, the helmet I'll be bringing with the Sunday ticket for C2E2 to get signed. Cool. And yeah. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it.
Well, it's funny. Like, so the funny thing is, like, it's probably a good thing that I don't have a large amount of money, because I wouldn't spend it on Chris Evans necessarily. I don't know if you know this, but there's a company called Comics and Sandwiches, and if you look them up on Instagram, they make metal replica Captain America shields. They make Cap shield, Bucky. Sam Wilson shield. They have the broken Endgame Cap shield. They have the Wakandan shield that they gave Cap in Infinity War. They even have like the Captain Carter one.
Comics and Sandwiches.
Comics. No, it's called. Hold on now. Now you got me messed.
Because I was looking.
Yeah, Comics and Sandwiches, and literally,
I wanted to
go on there. Look at this. Look at this display case that they have with it.
I
they
wanted to get the broken
yes.
shield signed. Is it Comic Sandwiches? I wanted to get the broken shield, and I'm ADD, I'm OCD. I look through, once I get my head around something, it is bad. And I
look at the C2E2 booth.
That's amazing. But I remember, we will be at C2E2 booth 5A2. It says it right there. So you could probably buy it right there.
Yeah.
I was looking, so between I wanted the vintage helmet too, would be kind of cool too. The classic World War II, not helmet, sorry, shield. So this is this is bad that you've told me about that. They are very expensive. There's a Hydra shield. There's
it's crazy. It's crazy. They've done Taskmaster shield. There's the Daredevil batons.
Yes, I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
What is the Captain America broken shield pieces? Endgame shield display.
I don't know. Well, let's.
Our audience is like, "What are you guys doing? What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, we got quiet for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So last bit of news, and then we can talk to Craig, because we're doing really good. We haven't even gone over an hour yet, and we're almost over all the news.
All right. So yeah, they're. I'm looking at it right now. It's like 2 feet across. That is way too big for me. The helmet's getting signed, not the.
Yes. Listen. Okay. I gotta. Okay. So Hannah has said, always inspiring us to spend all money. Yes. Because listen, if I don't have the money to spend on it, you all should. Because there's no reason why the people that are in my life that are following me or are mutuals with me should not be able to spend their money and have those things. That way I can vicariously live through you. So if you buy something that I've told you to buy or done anything, and I haven't even showed you the shoes I got.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have an entire collection that you're starting to build up.
Oh, it's crazy. I don't even know if I can get my. I'm not going to try. I probably would. This chair has not been supporting me very well lately. I'll probably fall over. Then I'll be like, somebody on TikTok, call my mom. But regardless, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, this stuff is out there, and yes, we times are a little bit harder than most or whatever. But if some people own some of these things, and listen, I just want to get to the point someday in my life that I'm financially stable enough that I have boxes of Lego sets that are just sitting behind me that haven't been put together yet. That I've got that kind of money that I can buy those sets and do that. So we'll see.
So I found out before we move on to one of the last topics, this is really interesting. The one I said was the broken shield pieces. It comes in a stand and it says So it's actually like this is in the world, which is very interesting. I wish I could pull it up the video. It says, so there's 2 broken shield pieces on a stand. It says, pieces of Captain America's shield found in Avengers compound wreckage. So it's the pieces that Thanos broke off, basically. And they were just found. That's talk about suspending reality. That's amazing.
That's cool.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm done.
listen,
Cool.
Don't worry. I bought back in the day. I bought what was it? I think it was either Master Replicas or it was another company. Phil Coulson's trading cards.
Oh,
so I have the Captain America trading cards, and here's the cool part: when you get the deck, you get 2 sets. You get the one set that are normal, slight boxing around the edges, and then you get the other set that has blood on it. Now it's not real blood; it's more like a lacquer, like red finish, so it like shines a little bit. But it's the bloody version of the card, so I can throw it down and be like, I found these in his pocket. Yeah, very cool.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh yeah. Okay, last bit of news, and then we can cut everybody loose to have a good weekend because I have to fly to LA tomorrow. Last thing is Jenna Ortega. Now this has been a busy 12 months for her. Between the viral dance with the Wednesday show, and everything else that's been going on with her. And if you don't listen, I'm Mr. Marvelite, so I have to do this. If you don't recognize her from a couple years ago, she was in Iron Man 3. She was the vice president's disabled daughter that was the catalyst as to why he was helping AIM.
Wow. I had no idea. I always knew she looked familiar, but that's insane. Well, wait. Didn't she also get confirmed to join the MCU potentially?
There was talk about. I'm trying to. It's rumored that she's going to be in. I think she's also rumored to be in Daredevil: Born Again. I think it was.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
they haven't disclosed what role, but they said it was a major role. So it's 18 episodes. Let's just throw everything in. We'll start seeing like the X-Men and everything. But
it will be cool if. Sorry, I literally cut you off from the reason you brought her up. But it will be cool if it ends up being like a Tom Holland, Peter Parker, or a. They retcon it in where it's like she was healed and it's a continuation of Iron Man 3, much like we saw in Iron Man 2, which was that's Peter Parker, the kid in the Iron Man suit. So that would be awesome. But yeah, sorry, I'm done.
Yeah. So season 2 for Wednesday was confirmed. Jenna Ortega has said that it's going to be a darker focus and less focused on the romantic side of it. So it sounds like the romantic entanglements that we kind of had in season 1 are not going to happen in season 2. And it's going to be more individually focused on Wednesday being Wednesday, which I think is good. I think they didn't need to do that part of it for her. Also, apart from Daredevil Born Again and Wednesday season 2, it appears that she could be teaming up with Tim Burton on the Beetlejuice sequel, which has been in development since 30 years ago.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, she definitely has that look. Yeah. But yeah, so it's the season of Ortega right now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she's just one of those young stars that's really just taking off, which is it's great. I mean,
listen, it's a household name. If you buy stuff at the grocery store to make tacos, you know the name Ortega anyway. So it makes perfect sense.
No, I thought she was great in Wednesday. I'm excited to see what she does next. I mean, I think she's going to be one of those actresses that's, came out of nowhere and just going to kind of take over. She's great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's all of the news. We actually did it in under an hour. I am extremely excited and impressed. Mind you, I didn't look at any news today because I knew that if I added anything else, we were going to talk for another 20 to 30 minutes.
So that's why. So yeah, I sent you. I tried. I didn't want to stress you out. I sent him for those who want to see how the sausage is made. I sent him a potential news tidbit about Wonder Woman a couple hours before, and I was like, I was like, that's really cool. I was like, is that going to stress him out? I'm like, probably.
No, I just looked at it like that's really cool. And to let you guys know what it was, basically somebody had it was an Instagram post, I think it was, asking about, Diana is very diverse and the Amazons are very diverse and a very, there's a lot of like history and everything, and that really should be delved in. And James Gunn just like replied to it
Working
and
on it.
said, "Yeah, working on it." Which
But if you notice, my takeaway was, if you notice the hashtag was Wonder Woman animated series. So I'm wondering, are we going to expand? Because I think Gal Gadot, she's done, right? As far as Wonder Woman like goes, like,
as far as we know right now,
yeah. I wonder if we're
until
gonna
Jenna Ortega gets old enough to.
yeah, she could be the voice if there is a
But that was part of the slate. There was going to be a story about the Amazons.
yeah.
So definitely looks like we're going to get. It looks like it's farther along, I think, than we anticipated.
Yeah, I think this is going to be. I mean, they're Marvel being a little delayed. DC might move some stuff up. We'll see. If they make some moves with this, we'll see. I don't know.
Now, let me say this, and this is especially to the fandoms. Those of you who are watching, by all means, thank you all. There has been a consistent number of people on this live. I've really appreciated it. I've been simultaneously streaming this on TikTok, and I know Michael's been streaming live on TikTok. Thank you guys for being with us on this. One of the things I want to say is, I'm Mr. Marvelite. I know I've said this in the past. If you watch my videos, you'll hear this a lot. Regardless of what studio or what comic book company is succeeding, we all win. It is so important that we realize it is not Marvel versus DC. It is not, Image versus Boom. It's not any of these things. It is 100% whoever succeeds, we all win, because it shows that there's a market for it. It means that there's more content coming. We can all celebrate and enjoy it. Yes, you can have your favorite characters. You can have your favorite franchises. And it's funny because I always say this. I am a Marvel fan. I'm a huge Marvel fan. But what got me into comic books, what led me into Marvel, was the death of Superman back in '92. If it wasn't for that comic book and my mom wanted to try to help me to read, I would have never gotten into the fandom at all. I liked the movies, but I wasn't going to go any deeper than that. And those comic books not only helped me to read, but enriched my knowledge. That it was our mythos. It's our Iliad. It's our Odyssey. It's our epic stories. And anytime they succeed, regardless, and that's why you're not going to see like any type of rivalry between Kevin Feige and James Gunn. Because if anything, the only thing I've ever thought of is DC is going to become great. Marvel has always been great, and I've enjoyed Marvel. And maybe one day we'll get Marvel versus DC, because it's more likely to happen now with these two leading the helms than ever before. And then we all win even more. So
I wonder if that was part of the discussion. Look, James Gunn deserves everything he's gotten. I think what he's done with Guardians is fantastic. He did a really great job with the Suicide Squad, right? So it's not Suicide, it's the whatever. And Peacemaker, I love Peacemaker. So I think he's done great work. What is he a classic studio exec? I'm gonna say no, right? And so I wonder if one of the draws to DC and to is it HBO Max, is Warner, but like whoever owns them was probably the fact that he does have positive ties to Marvel. And I think wars and competition can be good to bring the best out of people, but I think sometimes it's not. And so if you look at like all that nonsense years ago with Zack Snyder being like, talking trash about Ant-Man or this or that, and then going back, it's silly. So I do wonder if that's I would venture to say I'm confident in saying that's part of the plan, is eventually to build it up, bring them all together, make it all one really awesome, fandom for people, and just do it out. So I love that.
Do those things that we like. Could you imagine like we had in the comic books a time where DC wrote the Avengers, basically, like the Marvel superheroes, and you had back and forth. Like, you got to see their takes on the characters, and like we could even get to that point, like in the future, where we're working together in the studios, and we just see like the creativity explode.
I mean, can you? I mean, how fun would it be to like also just have? I mean, again, this is art and this is make believe, and I also love what Ken ODPH said. Obviously driving creativity. But how cool would it be to, like, so I'm wearing a Deadpool shirt, to see Slade Wilson meet with Wade Wilson and like just have some kind of fun banter, because obviously, for those who don't know, Deadpool is a complete spoof off of Deathstroke. And there's so many other characters.
Aquaman, Namor. You've got Quicksilver and Flash. You've got Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate. It's like, wasn't the Hulk and Solomon Grundy kind of like the back and forth?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, you have all of these characters, and it was even worse when Kirby went over to. And there's even a sleazy salesman like Stan.
That's so good.
There's so much and it's the same thing. It's like nobody ever realizes there's not like a super rivalry even in the publishing industries, because the artists and writers, they go from Marvel to DC and DC back to Marvel all the time. Like, so we win. That's just how it is. And hopefully everything gets great. That's why I'm super excited about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, as well as super sad because I know that's the end of James Gunn helming anything Marvel. I think he's done a fantastic, this weekend we've been watching it a lot. My kid's been watching it over and over again, and to the point where he's actually speaking the lines now. And
awesome.
And like, it's just been one of those things. And I'm realizing like the thing that worked was because it was so different from the rest. It's a family atmosphere.
And I feel like that's the big reason, I think, that why he was brought over to DC is for this guy. And I think that is what he's going to bring. Peacemaker is one thing, right? And I think you can't, sorry, too loud, too bright. Peacemaker is one thing, and you can't obviously do that with Superman. Right. That tone and that, realistic. I love this comment about Batman. But I think if you take the Guardians universe and what they were able to give us and what Gunn was able to give us with like the creativity and the beauty, but then also there's a family feel and there's a little humor, and you put that into Superman and make it hopeful and add a little dash of maybe some Spider-Man inspiration, there to kind of really get us all going. That's kind of a great universe that I'd like to see. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to go away from, even though we both love Man of Steel. We discussed in the past before. I think we're going to go away from this whole gritty kind of thing that was like so prevalent in the early to mid 2010s. How do you even say that? 2010s, whatever it was. And I think we're going to get back to, it's going to be like a Guardians type, Christopher Reeve type, positive. It's going to be really the DNA of Superman, which we didn't have. I think for those who liked and saw Dawn of Justice, I think I remember this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll shut up. Classic line. One line that someone said that really resonated with me, and it's 100% true, was, remember Dawn of Justice was supposed to be Man of Steel 2. And I remember, I think it was Mr. Sunday Movies was like, every Batman insertion that was in Dawn of Justice just proved more and more that Zack Snyder really wanted to make a Batman film. He wasn't out to make a Superman film, and he got taken over when he started to do it. He was like, it was always focused on Batman, and the Batman, it became from a Superman film that just happened to have Batman in it to really a Batman film that happened to have Superman in it. So I think you're going to get a really classic story from the Man of Steel, and I think everyone's going to really love it. It's going to be positive. You'll take your kids to it, and it's going to be
and Brave and the Brave and the Bold. Like I'm excited for that. Like the whole Damian Wayne storyline. Like honestly, James Gunn, I know you're watching. I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're a watcher.
He's a friend of the show. He always watches. They always like.
But I would say this: like, if you're gonna do anything, I'm gonna trust you with everything else. I just ask for another like Battle of the Super Sons sequel. Like I
Mm.
need another sequel to that animated show, like that series, or I'm sorry, that movie. It's a movie in itself. Um, I can't tell you how much I love that show, like that movie. It's such a good animated
Mm.
film. It had everything I wanted, and like it just made me like Damien even more, which I already like Damien. I don't know why. Don't judge me. I've loved the idea of Batman having to kind of train his son and stop his son from going overboard, where it was like all the other ones, like they were kind of like forced into this role. Damien like wants to go darker and deeper,
Yeah.
and it just I enjoyed the animated movie. Yes, it does take some liberties with the characters, but like they always do that with the animated movies.
Yeah.
They're always their own thing.
With
It's
all of
always
them.
like an worlds types thing, and I want more of it. So, but yeah, now I guess we can shut up. So just to remind all of you, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Like I was saying before, you can catch our show Fandoms this coming Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. I think that's correct.
I think we'll have some big news and some really exciting stuff on Friday as well. So
Yeah, hopefully. Also, you'll want to check out my TikTok and YouTube, or not my YouTube, TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. I'll try to post like identifying what's going on and directing you to Michael that way. And that way he's going to do the live stream on YouTube. So just make sure you're subscribed to YouTube, the Nerd Niche Show channel, as well as turn on your notifications so you can know when the next thing is happening. Because Monday morning, afternoon, there is something happening, and I can't say what it is, but it involves me being in LA. So I'm super excited for that, and can't wait to get on Fandoms and talk about it. I'm guessing, just because just to say I'm studying hard.
you're getting, you know what? I will say this too. You kind of feel like an MCU actor right now, don't you? Like you got Kevin Feige with the line of sight, and it's not Kevin Feige, it's someone else, but like you're learning what it's like to not say anything.
Well, I don't think so, because for MCU actors, I'm pretty sure they can't even tell family, because we know like friends and family, like when Andrew Garfield was going to be in No Way Home, he lied to everyone, including Emma Stone, and Emma Stone called him up after she found out, and he called him a jerk because he lied to her face. It's funny because everybody when they get interviewed, like, like they can't answer. Andrew's just like, no, I'm not in the movie. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not in the movie. And like, he was just boldly lying.
He went as far as to tell, remember he told Kimmel that, or it was Fallon that that photo was a Photoshop. The one with the three of them, that like,
yeah, like he was so far, like, that's not my arm, like.
It's just so funny. It's like, it's literally pose for pose. If you watch the movie, like his arm is, everything about it is so dead on. And so it's just kind of a funny thing. And he's a great actor. Like why the guy's been nominated for Oscars a bunch of times. Like the guys, whether it's acting in real life or acting in a movie, the guy clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, but I think what the funny thing is that someone had posted something around that time too, and then we'll wrap. But like, you had Garfield who was denying, vehemently, and then you had Tobey Maguire at Central Park walking around. They're like, I can't wait to see you in the Spider-Man movie. And he's like, thanks, man. See you soon. Tobey Maguire can care less. So like, it's just funny. Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, so like with Marvel, you really can't tell anybody, or at least, there's that threat of that. I could tell friends and family, but I couldn't, post on social media. That's where I'm like running the thing, is like, I can't say anything. But regardless, it's going to happen Monday. So stay tuned. And Nerd News is every other week. It's on the off weeks when we're not doing Fandoms. And then if you haven't already, you can go back and check the recording. We had 2 episodes of the Comic Press podcast this week. One with a special interview.
Comic Tom, great interview. Great interview.
And by all means, that's double the content for this week for that. We got lots of things going on. Tuesday mornings, we do Tuesdays we do Expanding the MCU. Wednesdays we do the Did You Knows. We're just trying to knock it out of the ballpark as much as we can. So we appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we can keep your interest. Well, Michael, have a good night.
You as well.
All right, and we'll see you all
Excited
later.
to find out. Excited to see you at the Oscars on Sunday. This will be really good. So,
No, I can at least say that I'm not going to be at the
yeah,
Oscars.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. All right. Have a wonderful night, everybody. We will catch you again next week.